back. Of course, we're into overtime now, Britt. This is your second time on the show, so I'm going to put you right on the Bonson burner. What have you brought in? What do you want to talk about in the last 6 or 7 minutes of the show? What do you got?
I'd like to chat about the Com Games.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's been some rule changes.
Yeah, the Federation has brought out their roadmap, their future roadmap on where the Com Games is heading, and it's not looking good. Yeah.
So they're going to cut back on, I think there's only 2 sports that are going to be unchanged,
Yeah.
and then swimming, of course, is one of those. So obviously, so if we use basketball as an example, they're saying because of the costs, perhaps there won't be a 5-on-5. It'll be 3-on-3.
3-on-3.
And that's it for basketball.
Yeah.
So they're bringing in less number of athletes, different style of game. But swimming, of course, why can't swimming be that way? Instead of having the 100 metres, why couldn't we have the 25-metre race?
Yeah, well, we do have the short course style, which is in a 25-metre pool. So for 100, you do 4 laps. It is definitely more exciting. But it's also, you find swimmers that are good at the 25-metre short course style. They're not necessarily great at the long course style, which is what the Olympics are raced as. So, yeah, I don't know, it could mix it up a little bit.
I suppose it doesn't matter in the end, because if you have a 25-metre race, you're going to have the same number of Australian swimmers that you'd have in a 50 or 100. It's not like there's more Australian swimmers coming in, whereas what they're doing is they're cutting back the number of athletes. So the same number of athletes, regardless, for swimming would be pretty close. If you had to drop an event for swimming, I know a lot of your swimming friends aren't going to be happy about this, which is the one that you would drop? Would it be the 1500? Would it be the 100
It's
metres?
hard because I was a sprinter, so they like to say that we were the big dogs at the pool. But I don't know. I have a lot of respect for distance swimmers, and I think I wouldn't. You would hate to see their events cut, but I think those shorter style of events
more explosive,
a bit more explosive and a bit more intriguing from a spectator aspect of things, of people who don't necessarily know a lot about swimming. But you'd hate to see events get cut. But they're talking about dropping from 19 sports overall to only 15. So, and they don't even have anyone locked in for the 2026 Com Games yet. So
it's going to be an interesting period, isn't it? Yeah. When you talk about swimming and you say, you were the big dogs, then you had the long distance. When you see a swimmer that swims the English Channel for 43rd time,
amazing,
and it's
Chloe.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What do you make as a swimmer of that distance?
I actually messaged her this week. Just reached out and just congratulated her on her achievements. Crossing it once is an incredible achievement, and 43 times is just unbelievable. So I think it's actually a mental side to it than it is a physical side. Like, she obviously has an incredible stamina and trains for the event, so it's a different style of swimming than, say, sprinting. But I think I would love to be able to tap into her brain and even just interview her and see what she thinks about for that long.
Oh, I'm interested in that, because being at the Institute, I used to go over and watch the swimmers train all the time. And you guys, in our game, we can run up and down the court, we can talk to each other, we make some shots, and there's a lot of variety in there. I'm not saying there's not a lot in swimming.
Oh, no, it's
and
very
I know you
boring.
get the kick, but you guys, up and back. At what stage do you turn your brain off and just go, I'm just going up and back here?
Yeah, there's parts where you'll feel yourself just kind of drift off, and you'll be on a train of thought, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I'm back. How did I get from that thought to that thought? Yeah. But it's a lot of hours spent just within your own head and following the black line. It's a bit. Yeah, you just sing to yourself, or I don't know, you just think about the weirdest things.
Guys and girls do that in our sport as well. No mistake, they just drift off. But you know how the boards are, and hypothetically it's 10 laps at this. Did you ever find yourself, what lap am I at? What?
Absolutely. Even within a, say it's 400, you'll miscount all the time. Yeah. So, you never really nail it.
Do you ever get caught?
Oh, all the time. You'd stop early and then you'd get
All right. Now, I know you want to ask me about Ben Simmons, because I can see your notes over there.
Yes.
What are you making? You think he's going to stay with Philadelphia now, do you?
Well, it seems like he's tucked his tail between his legs. And I don't know, maybe he doesn't have another option, or it just hasn't gone his way, and he's kind of got to make the most of the opportunity that he has there. And it seems that Philly wants to keep him and are keen to have him on board. But, it'll be up to him to kind of make the most of the environment, and hopefully it doesn't impact his game too much.
And I think you're right. I don't think things had worked out. I think it was a misunderstanding in the whole thing that set it off. And then, of course, he's got $200 million still to go with Philly, so it's not like it's going to be a destitute situation.
They weren't just going to let that walk on out.
And the thing that they do differently in America than they do here, it's just a business decision for us. You know, we look at it and go, how could you do that in Australia for a team you play for? So Ben's just being guided by his manager. He's just doing what his manager says. His manager's dealing with the Philadelphia people. So Ben's kind of over here, his manager saying, you just stay over there and be quiet, I'll do the deal. Now the manager's come back and said, well, I can't quite get what you want, so you're going to come back in and play. The other players will be fine with it. He'll get back in and they'll all be happy to have him back.
Do you think it'll impact the dynamics of it?
No, I don't think it will. You know, I think some of the players are disappointed that it's got to this point, but I think they also understand the business side as opposed to Ben's made it personal. I don't want to play with you guys. I don't like you. I think the crowd may be a little angry with him for a while.
Well, you've seen with footy players who try to go to a different team, they're tormented for a few seasons, and some supporters never really get over it.
The one thing the Americans do really well, though, as soon as Ben has a good game, they'll love him again.
They're back on the bandwagon.
I want to ask you quickly about this one because I read it just before we came on. There was a Swiss wheelchair racer. He's the 5-time marathon champ of the Boston Marathon. So he's up to win his 6th. His name is Marcel Hook. He's a Swiss guy. So he's about to win the Boston Marathon. And he's following the lead car and he keeps following it and misses the right-hand turn. So he goes 20 seconds further than he needs to. And so he doesn't win. He loses 50,000 US for that 20-second error, which is about 68,000 Australian. You go, is there any leeway there or not?
Was it a simple error?
It's just a simple error. He was just following the lead car and just missed the right-hand turn and then realised when he'd gone past, like, oops, I've got to spin around and go back, and loses.
That's a bit rough.
68,000 on missing a right-hand turn.
Surely just like not winning is enough, and making a simple mistake, that would have hurt him a bit. But further kick in the guts.
I'm going to ask you next week if you ever missed a turn and had to swim in the wrong lane. I want to find out about this kind of stuff. Hey, hope you've enjoyed the show, everybody. Britt and I have really enjoyed your company. Look forward to you next week. Bye for now.